Hello viewers, welcome to today's podcast where we will discuss world of sleep, mental health and transformation. I am your host Prachi Goyal. With me is my amazing guest Sridhar Rajendran. Sridhar ji is a sleep coach and RTT practitioner. After experiencing his own mental health crisis, he turned his life around and now he spends most of his time empowering others to achieve restful, medication free sleep. I am excited to know about his journey and obviously learn how exactly we can improve our well being. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Hi, Prachi. Thanks a lot, for having me on, and I'm quite eager and excited to chat with you too.
Equally. So, I have gone through your profile a lot of time, and I
Yeah,
know that you have really turned your life from
yeah,
UX, UI or tech world to the
yes,
sleep coach. And that is
yes,
really fascinating for me because when I go through the profile as such, from the tech world to the sleep coach, it is a huge transformation. So
yes,
I
yes,
would surely like to know like how you have did this particular transformation and
yeah,
obviously like a turning point, a journey
yeah.
which has literally made you think, okay, this is the time where you want to switch this.
Like, happy to share my journey. So, I started working in tech in 2010. I am a engineering graduate, and I started out as a developer first, and I was in development for about 7 years. And after which I shifted to UX design domain. So, I was always very interested to explore multiple things. And, while I was good at coding and I was doing things, I kept exploring many things on the side. And UX was one of those things where it was that intersection between technology and understanding human behavior. That is what I liked, that thing. I was always very keen about understanding how the mind works, reading about psychology and things like that were always very much there since my childhood. So that's kind of how that transition happened. And, and within UX, I specialized as a researcher because I was more interested, in speaking with people, understanding how they think, creating mental models out of it. And, so basically my interest towards psychology kept increasing and increasing. So I moved little by little from tech, within the tech itself, I kept shifting little by little from development to design to research. And finally, when I was working as a researcher, that's when, I was going through multiple, challenges in life, personal front, I would say. And it was a very difficult time. And it was then, I had my first, insomnia issue. Like I couldn't sleep for 48 hours. And that kind of really freaked me out. I've had, sleepless nights every once in a while, but never like this. And the weird thing was at that point of time, I used to meditate, and it was already, I was very spiritual. I was meditating for many years, and, it brought so many of these questions: why me? Why is God doing this? And so many things, right? Like blaming, complaining, playing the victim. I did all of that. And finally, I saw a psychiatrist. He put me on, some antidepressants to help me sleep. And that did help me at the medications. And slowly, that's how the journey started. And, apart from the medications, because it only treats the symptoms, I wanted to find a permanent cure for it because I don't want to be on medications for the rest of my life. And I tried, therapy for the first time. And there are many, types of therapy and modalities. I tried, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It did help me, but I found like I was hitting a plateau and I wasn't, going much ahead. And that's when I tried hypnotherapy, rapid transformational therapy. I had known about it and it gave me a new paradigm. So that's kind of the whole thing of, like how my interest began there. Then, once I got a little bit better, I tried hypnotherapy to help me. And after 6 months or so, I decided, okay, let me just, study this. I like my job, because I switched so many times in my career. I was at a point where, I like my job. I was good at it. And UX research is a niche field in India, and I was among the top. So everything was going good. There was no plan as such to quit my job or, venture full time into therapy, I knew I had many more wounds I had to heal on my own. I knew that much about me. So I thought, okay, maybe this will give me that framework to do that. Because compared to whatever spiritual practices which I was doing, I found this to be much more effective, straightforward to, healing my inner wounds. So that's kind of how, I, enrolled to study, like hypnotherapy. And again, when I enrolled, I had absolutely no idea of quitting my job and doing this full time. I was like, this is for me. I just wanted to cut out the middleman and just be my own therapist. That was the whole point of it. But when I finished or was about to finish, I really started to enjoy it. And I could see the shift in me, and I could see how a lot of the pain that people go through is self-inflicted. By the mind turns against itself and it is self-inflicted. So I just wanted to, like help people, like heal their own hearts and minds. So that's kind of, how my journey happened to leaving tech to the therapy and coaching world.
So this journey, I believe, started in 2021, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, in
Just after
2021.
the
Yes.
COVID time.
Yeah, it was in the thick of COVID.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it
Yeah,
because
the
of
second
COVID
wave.
only?
Yes, yeah, COVID also was one of the contributing factors. It was the second wave of COVID when I had the insomnia thing. Again, we were all, like under quarantine and at home extended periods of time, no social contact, and I had switched careers and there was job instability, so many things. And apart from that, in the family many issues were going on, so everything culminated at that point of time and it all exploded, I should say.
So, thank you so much for sharing this because this brings me to the other question. Especially during the COVID time, people were facing the problem of sleep, and many
Yeah.
of them were not realizing also, and most of them had this issue because of stress, I can say, anxiety, or maybe other
Mm,
issues. But yeah,
mm,
majorly stress and anxiety is something what I have heard. I just
yeah,
now want to understand from you that as an individual, if somebody is
yeah.
facing this problem, how exactly that person can understand this problem is existing, because sometimes we deny, I can't have
Mm,
this problem.
yeah. So I think the first thing is, your own feelings are the best indicator of what is going on inside. The thing is, when something is wrong on the inside, the mind always says there is pain, there is fear, there is some kind of discomfort. So what we do typically whenever we have an uncomfortable emotion, we immediately just jump to change it. It's like, when a child, baby starts crying, what do? We immediately try to pacify it, give it a toy, give it a chocolate. That's it. Even when we grow up, we tend to do the same thing. See, for a child or a baby, they don't have as much emotional awareness, so it is okay for doing for them. But when you're fully grown up, again, relying on the same thing, that is where the problem is. So people know the thing is, they tend to numb it down, like, constant, social media use, binge watching, or, turning to alcohol, substance abuse, and things like that. It's never actually like there is always signals. People know that they have a problem. Nobody, if you're happy, would you ever wake up in the morning and like, okay, I'm gonna have a full bottle of alcohol? No, you would not want to do it. It's only when you're miserable you would want it to do it. So people always know deep down. So the thing is, when you notice those uncomfortable emotions, whatever it is, let's not even try to like try to label it and things like that. That comes later. First, learning to sit with your uncomfortable emotion, learning to, understand, just observe your uncomfortable emotion. That is the first, this thing, any kind of mental health issues, right? And once you do that, then, like, it comes as in like, is it, if it's small, can you handle on your own, or do you need help and things like that. But for me, it is always about paying attention to your feelings. That is the first thing. And the flip side of it is like, don't pay too much attention to your feelings. That is also a mistake that people
Correct.
do. So the thing is, when there is an important deadline, but there's like, no, now I don't feel like doing it. I feel like, organizing my bookshelf, or, I feel like going for a walk. That is the wrong feeling to this thing. So even there, what you do is like you notice, oh, this feeling is there, which is trying to take me away from it. Why is it trying to take me away? First, observe the feeling, then bring in the intellect also to, make sure that the feelings alone are not running the show, kind of a thing.
But mostly what happens, like when somebody will understand ki, okay, this is something which is going wrong, they will
Yeah.
start using some traditional method. Maybe they will start
Yes.
with the medication only, right? But do you think that is a safe, like that is a quick solution? Many a
Yeah.
times, like they do medication, but it doesn't give the result because they
Yeah.
don't know what kind of medication is actually required.
Exactly. So, even before people go to medications, I've seen, people use like natural remedies, home remedies, and things like that. It's like, okay, oh, I'm feeling stressed and anxious. Okay, I'll go for a yoga class, or I'll see something on YouTube and I'll do some pranayams, or I'll do some meditation, random things. People try these random things, and it's like after WhatsApp University, it's like YouTube University. People, I mean, there are like a lot of wonderful things there. I'm not denying it, but reading and consuming too much of information which are contradicting each other will cause more anxiety and stress. And people try all of those things. Okay, that is also not working. Then, okay, let me try some, self-medication. Oh, let me just what can I do to numb my feelings? Oh, my uncle or aunt had this. Oh, they had this tablet. And okay, let me just ask the medical shop guy and something and things like that. So this is it's a gradual process. First is denial. That's the thing, right? Like I don't want to admit that I have a problem. So I'll keep trying something or the other. So it's like switching the channels on a TV. Okay, this, okay, this, and kind of a thing. And sometimes it will numb the symptoms and give you a temporary relief. But until and unless you're actually facing it, it will always continue to persist in the background.
Very true. Let's say ki, okay, I don't want to take a normal medication, like not therapy. I
Yeah,
want to go with the one which you are doing. That is, so how exactly
hypnotherapy.
I
Yeah.
will be, yeah. So how I will be approaching to it, and what is exactly the procedure which goes in this?
Yeah, sure. So again, so typically traditional therapy is talk therapy. It's you and I just talking to each other and trying to figure out, oh, what do you think this feeling means? Where is it coming from? And it's a very kind of intellectual sort of an approach where you try to dig deep into the feelings. And hypnotherapy is also pretty much talking to each other, but you'll just keep your eyes closed and you'll be much more relaxed. That's all there is. And what happens in hypnotherapy, again, there are many different varieties of it. At least the one which I use called rapid transformation therapy, I know we just spend one session to look at the past. That's it. We don't go about digging the past in every session, which is one of the drawbacks. So as to say, I found is like, in talk therapy, people are like, this happened. My mother said this to me. My father said this to me. My mother-in-law said this to me. Okay, fine, they said it. But now let's try to figure out what's the next step we can do. It is true, certain things, even, really bad things could have happened to you, but what can you do about it now? That is the question, right? Like, understand how those things, have influenced you currently. What is the program which is running in your head? And then, like, how do you break it and what do you do about it right now, kind of a thing. So, with hypnotherapy, what I do is like, in one session, we look at, okay, if somebody comes with, like, say, I'm unable to sleep, or, I feel anxious, then, we just, I'll just, guide them in hypnosis, and where they're awake, they're aware, they're talking to me, and then their subconscious mind will take them to those scenes, why this issue happened. Because logically, when you try to recollect, we have all these filters, right? Oh, what will this person think about me? Is he going to judge me? And I don't want to admit certain things myself because I have a certain image of myself, and admitting it will damage that image. So I will not want to admit. So in hypnosis, the beautiful thing is all that critical filter goes down. So you're allowing your subconscious mind to talk to you, and the person would be able to see, oh, this happened in my life because of which I have this issue, let's say insomnia. And now what can I do about it, kind of a thing. It's much more empowering. It gives people like one simple framework to, like understand their thoughts and emotions and to, basically be in continuous motion, not like be forever examining the past, digging deeper. And like, it's important to look at the past, but it's like driving a car. You should look at the rear mirror, but most of the time it should be on the front mirror. How long can you can't drive the car looking at your rear view mirror? Yeah.
Hypnotherapy can be taken online or offline. If I
Yeah.
don't want to visit to the clinic,
Yeah.
so how
Yeah.
exactly this can be driven?
Oh yeah, it works beautifully online, and I have been practicing it online for the ever since I started for the past 1 year, and people get just as good results as meeting face to face. Sometimes even better. The thing is, like when you're in therapy, you're opening up and you're sharing your deepest, darkest thoughts. People feel very vulnerable. Some people break down, they cry. And if you're in a new place, and you will feel even much more like, oh my God, can I cry here, kind of a thing. But if you're just logging in to a call from your house, from the comfort of your own home, you will know that come what may, I can disconnect the call and I will be fine,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So that gives people much more confidence, and they're like, okay, I can relax now. This is just a call, kind of a thing. So it works beautifly on this thing. So, like I said, it's nothing more than just talking, but it's just a little bit of what we call as a trance, where you become a much more relaxed. So the critical filter comes down, and you're able to access your memories, your feelings, uninhibited manner.
Why I had this question because
Yeah.
I feel personally कि some people may not want to visit to the clinic stating कि यार that can be very odd. Maybe I
Yes.
don't want to go there. Rather, I will just have a call. That kind of awkwardness will be not there
Yes.
over the online, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so this is one thing. But how about the other thing? You have also mentioned about RTT, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is that exactly? Like, what kind of
Sure.
therapy is that?
Okay, so RTT is rapid transformational therapy. It is a specific form of hypnotherapy in which I use in my day-to-day practice. So it was created by this UK-based therapist called Marisa Peer, and she's worked with, like celebrities around the world, like athletes, Hollywood royalty, so many people. So that's the method which I use. So, there has been hypnotherapy has been there for many years, but this is like true to its name. It's like, a really rapid in one session. You can see that big shift which happens even within hypnotherapy. There are so many different things, but this is so much more powerful than compared to the other methods that are out there. Yeah.
Okay, so you prefer more like what you say to the person who is facing the sleep issues, like whether they should go for hypnotherapy or RTT.
I go straight away for RTT because I know this gives you the instant results. So I don't,
Okay.
do anything else. I'm like, let's just do this.
Now let's give some surprising word to our audience. I
Yeah.
want to know like what's the one thing people would be surprised to know about sleep or insomnia? Okay, exactly this
Mm.
is one thing which is very surprising to them.
Mm. Okay. The surprising thing I would say is people who struggle with insomnia, they think it is a problem to be solved. They think sleep is a problem to be solved. Okay, I need to fix this. Let's do this. Okay, let's do that. Let's add another 100 different techniques into it. And they try too much for it. See, the thing is, like every day you might, like prepare to go to bed, right? You might brush, you might, like take off your contact lens, or, like read for some time and then go into the bed. You can do all that preparation. But when sleep comes, you're never actually awake to receive sleep. You have never been awake to receive
Right.
sleep. That is the thing with sleep. It's like a guest for which, you clean the house and keep it ready. But when the guest comes, you will never be there. So that's kind of how sleep is, right? And the thing is, with when people, so I'll tell you about the cycle of insomnia, how it even starts. So the first thing which happens is sleep disruption. Sleep disruption is basically like, maybe something happened at work or something happened at home, and because of which you're emotionally charged and you just couldn't sleep. Or you're worried about health, worried about finances, and you couldn't sleep. So that is a sleep disturbance which happened one night, or it could happen like a couple of nights. The thing is, if you don't pay too much attention to it, your body will actually reset it. If you go without sleep, even for a couple of hours, if you don't try anything at all, the next night you might actually just sleep properly.
Hmm.
That is what happens to
Obviously.
most people. If you don't do anything, it would automatically reset, because see, sleep is a natural function. You don't have to do anything to sleep. When you remove all the things which are hindering sleep, then sleep will happen. That's the most
Exactly.
important. You don't have to add things to sleep. You only need to subtract things to sleep well. So that is where, first there is sleep disruption, and then that could be due to some issue, right? And
Yes.
that
Hmm.
the thing is, and sometimes those issues are minor and that issue will go away. But the person who has sleep disruption now creates a new issue. Now they are anxious about sleeping. Well, okay, I didn't sleep for 3 days in a row. Will I get sleep now? If I sleep, how much deep sleep will I get? My Apple Watch is telling me I got only 6 hours and 34 minutes of sleep. Is this enough for me? They read another 10 articles about what lack of sleep can do. So it creates anxiety. That is how insomnia forms. First is sleep disruption. Insomnia is not like, it's a gradual thing. It's not happen overnight. So insomnia typically is it's either acute or chronic. And chronic also, they say like typically for 1 month to 1 to 3 months only, then they even call it as chronic insomnia. Acute is like, like I said, 48 hours of that is again, it was due to some incident. And most of the times, if the incident was a small magnitude, then your body and mind will reset automatically. So this is where, and when you have developed the habit of worrying. Worrying is a habit which people don't realize. You have developed the habit of worrying, and then you create anxiety about sleep. And then, because you're anxious, you're unable to sleep. You could do the
Right.
best of things and you will not be able to sleep. And then you keep adding more and more things. Okay, maybe I'll do some yoga stretches now. Okay, that is also not working. Okay, let me add some pranayam now. Okay, that is also not working. Okay, let me drink some haldi milk. Okay, that is also not working. So instead of, like working on the root cause, which is the anxiety, you add and add and add. And seen people who have like 45 minutes of elaborate bedtime routine. I am just exhausted just listening to those routines. And it's no wonder you're unable to sleep, because it's not just the routine. You're pinning a lot of hope and expectation on that routine, and you're forcing that to happen. Sleep is
Actually.
effortless effort. You need to do certain basic things, like avoiding caffeine, dimming the lights, and things like that. Minimum stuff. But if you do too much, there is a point of diminishing return. It's like little bit, that much, and then you need to step back and relax. So that is the biggest, say misconception or myth I would say people have about sleep. It's not a problem to be solved. You need to do some things, but don't make it your life's mission to have perfect sleep. Then sleep will never happen to you.
But don't you think like it is because it cannot be always because of anxiety or stress, right? Because of the
Absolutely.
routine what they have, or
Yes.
because of the diet. Maybe like
Yes.
we all have the habit, right? Like at
Yeah.
10 o'clock we will eat.
Yes.
After
Oh,
when
yeah.
we will be eating at 10 o'clock, obviously we will be sleeping also by 1 o'clock. Technically
Exactly.
3 hours gap will be there,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe 2 hours gap will be there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
don't you think like it cannot be always because of stress and anxiety? Because one person who
Absolutely.
is facing the sleep struggle, maybe he's
Yes.
just thinking कि यार sleep नहीं हो रहा है
Yes.
just because I have so much of stress, जबरदस्ती का
Yes.
stress ले लेंगे, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
ultimately the reason might be different कि routine ही follow
Absolutely.
नहीं हो रहा है.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, broadly speaking, there are three causes for insomnia. The first is lifestyle. This is basically like doing all the wrong things. Like, you take coffee late in the evening and you have a tendency to, stay awake. For some people can metabolize caffeine very easily. I have some people in my life who can drink coffee and sleep in 1 hour. I can never do that. For me, my cutoff time is 4 p.m. Like I can't drink more than that, and I know it will affect my sleep routine. And then something, and then like staying up late to binge watch TV,
Yeah.
or trying to sleep in over the weekends. Not because you didn't get enough sleep on the weekdays, it's because you don't have anything else to do. You're sleeping in on the weekends, and you are disrupting your circadian rhythm. This is the first thing. Lifestyle and the things which you have mentioned, right? Like food. Like you need to stop food at least 3 hours before, and any fluids 1 hour before, so that you're giving sufficient time for your body to process, and cutting out fluids so that you don't wake up in the middle of the night to relieve
Right.
yourself. So this is all the lifestyle issues. Second is physical or physiological issues. There are people, due to certain hormonal conditions, sleep can be affected. For women, typically during pregnancy times or menopause, hormonal fluctuations can cause sleep disruptions. And then sometimes even thyroid gland dysfunction can cause hormonal dysfunction. And then there are certain like vitamin and mineral deficiencies which can cause sleep this thing. So in that case, again, you'll have to like then go to a doctor and get certain tests done to figure out, okay, okay, what is the real reason there? And then the third cause is psychological. So that is how, I look at sleep. So whenever I speak with someone, I try to identify which category they belong to. Sometimes it's just one of the categories. Sometimes it could be multiple categories as well. For majority of the people, it is lifestyle issues and basic stuff which they aren't following, because of which. And for the other people, sometimes it's a combination of physical and psychological, or only psychological. For instance, somebody had like say fracture, or some kind of an accident, and because of the pain you couldn't sleep well. Okay,
Hmm.
but you're holding on to the memory of the accident, which is causing you internal pain, because of which now, though the leg or hand has healed, you're still not able to sleep because you're still holding on to the memory of it, where it's now a combination of both physical and psychological. It started as a physical issue, but it has morphed into a psychological issue because the original stressor event is gone, but the memory of it still resides with you, because of which it is causing that pain over and over again. So we need to take a very systematic approach, trying to, like figure out what could be the cause for each person's this thing, and then, go about addressing it.
I can definitely relate it because it's been a while when I've like faced this issue. I have met with the accident, and that time, like, I had literally no sleep time for 5 days, and I was just thinking about ki kaise ho gaya, why it happened. I was not supposed to be there or whatever, but I was. It was not the sleep issue as such. It was just my mind which was not allowing me ki okay, stop thinking and just go for sleep. So I
Mhm.
can totally relate it with it. And that's how
Yeah.
I just want to know, is there any real example which you can provide, one client which you have handled where you have
Mm-hmm.
actually gone, like you have heard her story or his story, which has really impacted you also, ki okay, this is something which a very different kind of story you are hearing from your client.
Mm. I hear a lots of different stories.
Just one, I'm sure like your
Okay.
client won't mind.
Yeah, I'll try, like, okay, related to sleep, right? You wanted to hear?
Yeah, I will be
Oh,
specific with that because
okay.
our audience really wants to hear
Okay.
that today.
Okay, got it. So, like one of the person, like I worked with, they initially I started working with them for because they had some confidence issues and they couldn't set boundaries. And that was the thing. We started working together, and then over a period of time, sleep improved as a side effect of it and side results. So the reason why it happened is, like so there were like multiple reasons why that person sleep was affected. One is they were in a very high pressure, hectic job environment, and because of which they would work for 12 hours, 14 hours, kind of a thing. That was one thing. And that work environment, they wasn't getting sufficient support from their manager also. Everybody was like blaming one another. So it's like contribution of hours and this thing. And then what happened is, then even though like the work ended, they never turned off their mind from work. That is the second problem. So let's say, they work got over, like, say, max to max by 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., right? But, they always had, the phone on, they had the computer on and all the time. And because they never learned to, like, create healthy boundaries at all. So both physical as well as mental boundaries are needed. So, like, first is, like, installing that sense of self-worth in them. You know what? You're actually smart. You're doing the job that you are supposed to do. And there are certain factors which are outside of your control, which you cannot, like, anyway impact upon. And then, they started becoming much more assertive, started setting healthy boundaries. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up, like, work at this time and things like that. And so psychologically, we worked on that. And then we worked on the tactical things. Okay, we created a routine, binding up routine after work. This is the things, which you will do, so that you signal to your brain, okay, work is done. Now I can relax. Now I can slow down. It's like turning off a car from fifth gear to fourth gear to third to two to one. So that's kind of how the brain is. You can't, like, press a hard reset button and expect to sleep. So we created like an evening slowdown routine, and then, like, they were, like, having so many of, like, on the mobile, so many apps and things like that. Got rid of so many apps, and then turned off the notifications, and then during nighttime made it a rule not to keep the phone in the bedroom, because this person had the habit of, constantly checking it. For most people, for some people, if they're not that addicted, I wouldn't do it. But this person needed that kind of this thing. So, keeping it in another room for charging, kind of a thing, so that, like, 7, 8 hours, and then actually shutting down the laptop. Otherwise, the laptop is, like, in the sleep mode, and it keeps pinging every few minutes, even in the middle of the night. And you keep that also in the bedroom along with you. And it's no wonder you were not able to sleep. And then slowly we worked on these things. And then, then I know, like, even though sleep was not even the thing that we were trying to tackle, like I said, right, it's not a problem to be solved. We removed all these other things on the outside, which was, affecting, and then sleep improved. The thing is, like, even after doing all of this, certain things we could never change. Like, the job environment can't be changed. The office is what it is. Unless you quit the job, you can't do. But the thing is, even though they were getting only 5 or 6 hours, they were much more refreshed. They were very energetic when they woke up. They got much better quality of sleep. Again, it's not recommended in the long run, but not everybody has the luxury to wake up with the job and go. So I work with people depending on, okay, your situation is this, okay, this is a band-aid fix, okay, but, let's do this so that you stabilize a little bit, so that your moods are, like, stabilized, your thinking process is clear, so that even if you want to change your job, you should be able to think clearly before you even start applying for a job.
Right.
So that's kind of, like, how, we addressed the sleep thing. And, it started off as, like, mental health issues and things like that. And because of which, like, sleep was getting impacted here due to physical plus psychological. So we worked on psychological thing first and then the physical thing.
What percentage of clients you get, especially because of a work environment issue? Like, is there any
Majority.
percent majority is because of this?
Majority.
Yeah, that's the reason
Yes.
I asked, because
Yeah.
this is a common issue what we hear. And
Yeah.
recently we had a news from
Yeah.
EY, like one of the
Yes.
employee of EY. What is
Yeah.
your thought process on that?
Yeah, I mean, it is rather unfortunate, somebody, like, taking their life because of work pressure and things like that. So, see, when it comes to mental health, it is equally the responsibility of the employer and the employee.
Very true.
We cannot just blame the employer and expect them to do it, nor can we just put the entire onus on, like, okay, here's as a gym pass or a meditation pass, go do it and you feel good. It's not that. It's a two-way thing. And while I would like to believe it's a 50-50, it is never going to be 50-50. It has to be more onus on you, the employee, rather than the employer. So that is where, like, I would a lot of the times, where people, break down and, have emotional or mental breakdown or even go to the extreme of taking their life, it's because a lot of their meaning in life is attached to work. Their entire identity has been consumed by work. There is nothing outside of work that defines you. Like if I ask who's Prachi, who are you outside of work? Who are you outside of your job designation? Which is what I try to work with people. You are so many more things. You're a human being. You're a wonderful, you're a son, a daughter, husband, wife, so many roles you're playing day in and day out. So it's about like disassociating yourself from one identity and not holding on to one, too much, and learning to look at life from a broader perspective. It is important to be passionate about work and to do your very best. And I believe in that. And there are days where I also work, a couple of hours extra because I enjoy the work that I do. And I believe like whatever I do, I need to do the best, like at least my best. It might not be the best amongst everyone, but at least my best I need to do. So that's what I would say to people who find it, very difficult to handle a work situation. First of all, just take a step back and see what is the real problem. A lot of times people come to me and immediately in the first session they will say, my manager is the problem, and I'm in a toxic workplace. In 3 weeks they will say, what, they're actually not such a bad person only. The company is actually decent. I think I had problems. Yeah, you think so? So, the thing is, when you're in pain, the first impulse is just to blame somebody, point the finger at somebody. There are going to be people who are bad. There are going to be companies that are bad. I'm not at all denying that. But in my experience, I have seen most of the times it's because your vision is distorted. My through that before you try to blame someone or assign any kind of judgment. This person is wrong. This company is wrong. This is toxic. This is one thing I'm seeing everywhere. Oh, it's a toxic workplace. It's a toxic relationship. Yeah, most of the times it isn't. I've seen this. I know it's not a popular opinion. Most of the times it isn't. I'm not denying the existence of it. It does exist, but I have seen a lot of times people are just not doing what they're supposed to do, and then they unfortunately end up blaming some other person or the workplace. Yeah.
My thought process about it, I guess one individual will be always responsible for his own life by his
Yep.
own. Like no other company or no other manager can actually hamper the life of one individual.
Exactly.
It's just like you are thinking the other way that okay, that is the person whom you can blame. Least somehow you are not able to manage that thing in a right way, because before any job,
Exactly.
I guess your parents comes and your family comes with whom you have
Yeah.
been there. They are not able
Exactly.
to give you that kind of stress, but how exactly the company where you are just working as an employee can impact you so much that you will take the life of yours
Yeah.
because of them.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
is something very like when I've read the news and I was
Yeah.
seeing that the different kind of opinion, my
Yeah.
opinion was very different. Ki why exactly? Like because of this
Yeah.
company, you are just telling company. Obviously, you can tell company,
Yeah.
ठीक है, it is totally
Yeah.
your opinion, but it is
Yeah.
taken in a very just one-sided way, which is
Yes,
wrong.
we do not know if they had any other personal difficulties, mental health
Correct.
issues. We do not know. So we shouldn't, go about, throwing a very broad statement or a blanket statement about the situation. It is whatever happened is very unfortunate for them
Obviously.
as well as the family. But for people who are reading the news and are thinking like that, my only suggestion is, if you feel something is not right within yourself, then speak to somebody who can give you an unbiased opinion and then see. Nor, and that does not include going on a smoke break and complaining with 10 other people who are also going to be an echo chamber and repeat the same thing. That is not, sharing. That is like we all have that people. It's like no, I just want to complain and I want you to reinforce my behavior. So yeah,
Here we will take a pause from this particular topic
yes,
because
yeah,
this is literally a very uh, netting topic right now. I can say right now the
yeah,
netizens are very much interested in this topic. So yeah, we will take
yeah,
a pause. So now we will head to rapid fire. We have this
Yes.
section, a short section where we just
Yeah.
have this rapid fire where we can know that if I say one word, when you
Hmm.
listen that word, what comes to your mind? Ki, okay, this is the word which comes, and
Yeah.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah. Do I get a coffee hamper as well?
I think so.
Yes.
I have not kept it right now with me right
Yes.
now. It's pistos,
Yes.
so I can
Okay.
just give you that
Yes.
pistos.
Sure. Okay. Done. Done.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, but I will for sure give you a gift. Maybe I will send the gift to your address once you give it to
Yes.
me.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Definitely.
So here's how I will
Hmm.
go very impromptu
Sure.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So, first word, dreams.
Dreams. Follow them always.
Okay. Drowsy.
Eat less.
Okay. Insomnia.
That's the first thing. Try less.
Okay.
Yes.
Darkness.
It's a part of life. Nothing to be afraid.
Hmm. Okay. Life.
Beauty, joy, pain, misery, all put together one nice buffet.
Travel.
Must for everyone. It stretches your comfort zone.
Correct. It gives you time to just heal out, maybe.
More than that, it is like when you travel, you can be sure that 90% of the things will never go your way,
Hmm.
no matter how much planning you do. It breaks your ego, it pushes you out of your comfort zone. If you know how to work with it, you will come back as a better person. You will come back as a well-adjusted individual. You will know how to think on your feet and do all of those things. You'll know how to mingle in different cultures, how to be respectful of others, when to accommodate, when to hold your ground. So many things you can learn from travel because I've learned so many things. I've done a lot of solo travel. I've traveled with friends who have different peculiar things, right? We are all peculiar in our own way. So it teaches you a lot about life.
Very true. I am pretty much aligned because I am a avid traveler.
Wonderful.
Okay. So, sleep.
Nature's gift to all of us. Savor every bit of it.
Oh, that was a nice quote. I can actually put as a title in my
Yeah.
podcast. Nice, very nice. Very
Yeah.
true. And it is a very meaningful thing which people avoid sometimes. So it's
Yes.
through this podcast, maybe somehow we are able to help them. This is all about the rapid fire round. I believe you
Yes.
have pretty much answered with the exact word what we were expecting, or maybe we
Mhm.
wanted to listen. Audience wants to also know one fact from you, that how exactly they can control the sleep struggles if they have. Just in one
Mm.
line, if you can just tell ki, okay, this is something how you can do like you can control your sleep struggles
Mm. Mm.
without even like actually reaching out for the therapy. So
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
suggestion?
So for most people, I would say start with your sleep hygiene. Just your basic sleep hygiene will take care of a lot of things. And since you asked me for one thing, on my website, I have created a new free training for everyone for how to fix your sleep hygiene to get better sleep. So just do the basic stuff, and I've kept it very like light and intentional. It wouldn't be like another 20 minutes to this. Like I've given multiple options of it, like whichever you already do or like just do certain things, and that itself will fix a lot of problems for so many people. So working with somebody who works in a shift work, right? Like, and their shift ends at 12:30 on a good day, 12:30 a.m. on a good day. Sometimes it goes to 1:30 to 2. Again, I have to work with that. I have no other choice. I can't ask that person to quit the job and do. So they were like sleeping at around 4 o'clock. And now we just focused for them. I started with sleep hygiene first because that was what is needed there. And now he's able to sleep 1 hour earlier. That's a win. 1 hour earlier is a win, despite the fact that you are his chronotype is different, but we can't avoid the fact that he is a shift worker and he has to be available. We were still able to move like that sleep window by 1 hour. So that itself is a win. And now we're doing a couple of more things to, like get better sleep. Yeah.
With this, I would like to add, I have
Mm.
recently started intermittent diet, and actually that
Okay.
has really helped me to
Good.
like improve my sleep cycle.
Oh, good.
Previously, I used to sleep at 1 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock or
Yeah.
2 o'clock, because I
Yeah.
was also like too much into my work. कि ठीक है 12 बजे भी किसी का message आता है, तो I have to revert back. But
Yeah.
now, because of this dieting, I believe
Yeah.
now I am able to sleep at 10 o'clock only.
Good.
So I don't know whether this helps or not, that you can suggest to the audience.
Yeah, I'm not very aware about intermittent fasting, and so I can't comment. But if it works for you, then yes, go for it. Yes, because
Perfect.
each of us are unique. So you need to observe your body and see. Like for me, like I don't fast for more than 12 hours at a stretch. I know that if I do for more than 12 hours of fasting, I feel acidic, I feel bloated. It's my body type. I can't change my body type. So I have realized that my limit is 12 hours or max 13 hours. I don't push it more than that. I take something or the other and I break the fast. So each of us are unique in ours. So figure out what works for you. If it's exercise, if it's fasting or a certain food, then go for it.
This is a great recommendation because, yeah, it depends on body to body, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody behaves in a different way. So, at the end, if you have any other thought which can help our audience to understand this particular issue and overcome this issue, if you have any final thought, you can share, and then we will end this podcast.
Yes, sure. First of all, thanks everyone for listening till the end. So what I would say is like insomnia is not, a very big issue. It can be treated. There are so many options. Even if there is like medical reasons, we have gotten really good medications and pills to help you. So first thing I would say is, like drop the fear about not being able to sleep. That is the first thing. Help. Then in this day and age, there are so many different kinds of, therapy, modalities, medications, and whatnot to help you. So, and even in your own life, if you realize, there might have been some time where you didn't get enough sleep, but you would have been happy the next day. Maybe it was your wedding, cousin's wedding, or preparing for an exam. You didn't sleep, but you were still happy, you were still energetic. So just recall those days where, you didn't get sleep, but you still managed to. So that is how you break that hold of fear and anxiety about sleep, and insomnia can be fixed. So don't worry too much about it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your final thoughts. I would like to mention when I started to have a discussion with you, seeing your profile, what made me talk to you even more, because this is a common issue what people are facing and they are not
Yeah,
open about it. I was never open about it, that this is
yeah,
the issue what I faced during the accident time. So this is how like
yeah,
I was able to relate, and I was like equally happy when I texted you that we can have this podcast.
yeah,
You instantly like said, yeah,
yeah,
let's go for it.
yeah,
Obviously your audience like I really wanted that audience can hear about this thing also, which they have never heard in my podcast. So thank you
yeah.
so much for your time. And it was a pleasure having a word with you because many of the things was new to me. I have learned about RTT, hypnotherapy, which was totally new to me. I have never explored this all things. So thank you so much for sharing this part.
Sure. And it was equally wonderful for me to chat with you, Prachi. Thanks a lot, first of all, for reaching out to me. And I loved the different questions and especially the rapid fire, of course. And thanks everyone for joining us and, staying till the end. I hope it was helpful to each and every one of you.
So thank you so much. Here we wrap up and we will see you in the next podcast. Till then, please do subscribe and like our channel. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, everyone.